and the statues everywhere, and yeah, it would have been an amazing place to look at back in the day. Right at the edge of the sea, and then there's this like hill in the back with this huge like fortified wall all around it on the top of this big plateau. It would have been cool to go up there, but I didn't want to do that. The next day I went into Athens, and I went across that. There's this big ass canal that they dug like 100 years ago, that I had to wait for this big underwater bridge to come out from the depths and appear, and all these like dead fish flopping around, and you ride across it, and then went to Athens. Right as I was on the outskirts of Athens, see, I'm a lucky ass motherfucker. Right as I was on the outskirts of Athens, my pretty much brand new, week old aluminum rack collapses. Finally. So I had to put the backpack on my bike, on my back. The only way that I could ride into Athens was along like a highway. Greeks drive really weird, like they drive in the shoulder. So I'd be looking behind me and there's a car coming at me, like it's going to run me down, and then they get out of the way in the last minute. But lots of traffic, and it's like Athens is extremely crowded. Then I stayed in a campground one night, but I should have, and I saw World Cup game. But then the next day I stayed in this awesome hostel it was an Australian hostel called something hostel, but they had this like on the top, rooftop bar, like the top of this really tall building, fenced in, boom, this bar. So you have no choice but to hang out with everybody, They all sit along the thing facing each other, and you're talking. Everybody's talking to everybody. It was really cool. And a bunch of drinks were bought for me. In fact, I got completely wasted. And then I found myself in some bar crawl. But I only made it to the second bar, and I was too drunk. And I should have hung out there, because there was this chick named Maria Abdelmalik who was really interested in like biking and hot too. And should have hung out with her, but didn't. I just went home and passed out. And then the next day, I tried to I had to fix my bike, but to get a new rack, and also to get a new step sack for my, I did buy a rack actually when I first rolled in there, a metal rack, but I had to, what did I have to do? I had to get something soldered. Oh yeah, I had to get my rack soldered, because I could tell it was a really cheap rack, and I wanted to get it fortified so that it would be strong enough to take what I had to dish out. So I had to wait all weekend, and I tried to stay at that hostel again, but it was full. So I went back to the campground. I shouldn't have gone to the campground because it was boring. So I came back, and that was full. So I went to another hostel. It was only €16 a night in this dungeon in this basement. But that had a really cool hangout area too, and we're partying with all these people, hanging out with people, and we did a pub crawl thing there too with all these people, Americans, and it was fun. I actually filmed it with the Norwegians, and it was fun. But yeah, I did the whole tour of Athens. Athens is amazing. I mean, the Acropolis is amazing. You see the Acropolis and you go, oh my God. Like back in the day, that must have just been shabam. And you know what? And I was gonna do a video, and I might do a video about it. My experiences of Greece fortified my idea of aliens, the gods being aliens, because those stones on the Acropolis were too big for those people to put up. And I know they recorded the building of it, but I know they believed in gods back then, and that the gods helped build Mycenae, which was 1600 BC, a lot like 1,000 years before the Acropolis and more. But I don't know, man. Either those motherfuckers had their shit together and they were really smart, or they had help from the aliens, because those stones were huge. The Acropolis is very impressive, but they had rebuilt a lot of it just as well as they did then. And yeah, man, I mean, all marble. The entire top of the Acropolis, the whole mountain there, the whole thing's marble. So it was really pretty, red marble, and then all different colors of marble. So marble all over. Yeah, buildings made out of marble. I mean, they don't have a shortage of marble in Greece, in that part of Greece. Yeah, so then I finally I was there for like a week, because I freaking, had to wait there for the thing, to get the things to open. So then I was like, gonna ride out of town. Then I was like, you know what? This is stupid. I have to go to the island. If I don't go to the island, I'm gonna be fucking, I'm gonna shoot myself. I'm gonna kick myself. So, yeah, I stayed up all night doing internet in the the port area restaurant, and then took the boat into Ios. If I was going to go to an island originally, I thought maybe Santorini, right? Because it's the volcano island with the hot springs, and possibly Atlantis, and really pretty. But I heard Ios was the party island, and I wanted to party, so I went to the party island, and went and stayed at some like beach resort place for €6 a night to camp, where they had all this alcohol, drinking all day, and beach right there, topless beach, big ass beach, all these like teenagers there, like average age was like 20. Went into like the party area, and my God, dude, off the hook party, man. This town was like, the streets were so narrow you couldn't even ride a bike. Like, it was like, I felt like I was on like a spaceship or like a cruise ship or something. Like, I didn't feel like I was in a town. The roads were like wide as 6 feet wide, It's like, and at night it just lit up, and every place was a bar that was playing loud ass disco dance music, American music, but really good dance music. People were having so much fun dancing. Each bar had a gimmick. Like, they'd have drinks that taste like something, and then another place they'd have like set fires on the countertops, and some other place they'd like make you put on a helmet and bang your helmet, and then you have to take a shot, and then like just crazy shit, man. People puking in the streets, and one girl grabbed my ass, and then I turn around to see her collapse unconscious on the floor, and then they pick her up. And then she collapses again, then they pick her up, and she pukes her brains out. I mean, yeah, I filmed that. Not that, but I filmed, like, partying there. It was fun. Partied there for 2 nights. Anyway, then I left, and then I went back to Greece, and I rode my bike into Delphi. And I went through Thebes, but Thebes was nothing. It was some tiny little town. Went to Delphi. Did Delphi one day. After the night when I got there, I saw the soccer game. Who was it? Argentina getting their asses vaporized by the Germans. and then Delphi was amazing. Up on the side of a mountain, steep ass mountain, way up above the ocean. You look down, you can see the ocean if you go around the edge, but way up, steep, zigzagging switchbacks to get up as you explore the city with these big temples. They had a big temple, a big amphitheater on the side, and then behind that up on the top was this big like what do you call it, football field, but lined with big bleachers. And this was 2,000 years old. They had like the Olympics there too. It was like the competitor to the Olympics or something, but the Pan-Athenian Games. But that was really amazing, Delphi. I would have liked to know where the Oracle hung out, but then the next day, then I camped at another campsite because I wanted to see if they had internet, because the one that I camped at before didn't, and they did actually. I had to pay for it, but it wasn't that much. And then the next day I rode into past where those guys had the where King Leonidas fought off the Persians, which is pretty far from Sparta, man. I heard the Spartans ran. When the Spartans backed up the Athenians, they waited like a week because it was like their religion not to work that week. So even though the Athenians were getting attacked by the Persians, they were like, we can't go because this is our vacation time. But once the vacation time was over, they made it from Sparta on foot to Athens or wherever that place was. It was like 200 miles in 2 days. They ran 100 miles a day or something like that. Crazy. Or something. Yeah. Or was it 50 mile? It was sick. I should read up on it again, but over in hills, and these guys are badass. But like, yeah, then I went to the place where Leonidas, so they had a thing of naked Leonidas there where he fought off but I didn't see like any like, you know, valleys. It didn't look like a craggy place, you know, like. But anyway, then I rode up over this hill, and then down, had a shower with a hose at these people at a bakery. These gruff Greeks, because they're gruff, man. They're very friendly, but some of them, they're very, very, very friendly. Greeks are very, very, very friendly. Well, yeah, very, very friendly. Everybody's very, very friendly. The main thing about Greeks is they're really generous. Like, they're really open with their stuff. Like, you know, I knew they were going to let me use their hose and not charge me for it. You know, they're not worried about money, the Greeks. Even though their economy is collapsing, they're not, like, out for... I didn't have that idea. But, yeah, they were like... I was like, hey, excuse me. And they were like, what? You know, that's kind of what they're like. But, yeah, I had my shower with the hose. And then I went down. I camped in this really cool, you know, way up high, so it was cool. My first cool time camping for a while, which was nice to sleep there and not sweat and feel the breezes. And then I rode down the next day and then I camped, yeah, up on the base of Mount Olympus. And I was in Mount Olympus, and I didn't have to pay to camp there. And I had a little dinner, and then I rode up, and then camped out up at a hotel up on the top of Mount Olympus. Near the top of Mount Olympus, there's 2 hotels up there. And I was there 2 nights, because the first night I thought it was going to be bad weather, but it ended up being the best weather ever. But I stayed there all day anyways, and then I left, and I ate and drank a lot of beer and stuff. My bill was €80 when I left. But and then I climbed the mountain. Tried to climb it the technical way, but couldn't on my bike shoes. Would have died if I tried. And then went around the non-technical way. Didn't go up the highest one, which is only a little bit higher than the other one, because I was just like, I didn't want to get myself in a situation, you know. That one was a little, I didn't even look at it, didn't want to look at it, but if it was like the original route I tried, I didn't want to deal with that. It was like rock climbing. On like bike shoes, no thanks, CDs. So anyways, I climbed that mountain, then I went down, and then I, my t-shirt, my button-up t-shirt was disintegrating on me, but I found another shirt, which I have right with me here, on the trail, draped over a bush, so I grabbed that, put it on, then I rode my bike down, stayed at a hotel, campground for like €4. And this campground was off the hook. I mean, hundreds of people there, man. Packed. And these people, man, they were so set up. I mean, their setup makes this setup here look like a joke. They had refrigerators. They had TVs. They had microwave ovens. They had rugs. They had little houses. They brought little houses there. I was like, how long are you here for? You know? It's like a little village. It's like a little gypsy village of Greeks on this campground. Anyway, yeah, then I went into Thessaloniki just because I wanted to see Thessaloniki. I got kicked off the highway again, riding down the highway. But that was because, you know, the 2 checkpoints on that same highway, they told me it was legal. And all of a sudden it's not legal. But the guy made me wait for like an hour until the cops came. And then the cops came, and they're like, then they let me go, and they didn't charge me, even though he said it was a €200 fine. And then I went into Thessaloniki, and I thought my, I went into Thessaloniki because I could have bypassed Thessaloniki and saved a lot of time, but I went in there because I thought my axle had broken again. But they opened it up, and turned out it wasn't. And they didn't charge me for it, too. They're really friendly. But, yeah, my wheel is just old and, like, loose, I guess. But, yeah, so then I rode up, and I camped out up way, way up. I camped up on the top. It was another nice, cool campsite. And then the next day I rode down into, yeah, I rode, that was a long day, up over all these rolling hills. And I was going to ride all the way into Sofia, Bulgaria, and camp. But I couldn't find any place with food that had internet. Or actually, I couldn't find any place with food, period. In this entire town, there was no freaking restaurant for food. Just a pizza place. And I did not want to eat pizza because I'd been eating way too much pizza. So I decided to get a hotel room. And the justification was that because I was doing Skype a little bit with my mom, and she's kind of encouraged me. I think it was like $60 too. But I saw the World Cup final. I got to see the entire World Cup final in my hotel room. Even though it was on a small black and white TV with like really bad reception, I did get to see it. It's funny though, because I thought the Dutch team was the Spanish team all up until like the last minute of the game. I was rooting for the Dutch, but the Spanish were playing better. But I guess the Spanish had one more player than the Dutch. But anyways, but they were playing better as a team. But anyways.